So you personally, where did you grow up? What area in New York?
I'm New York. Like I grew up all over New York. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I was born in Brooklyn, raised in Lower East Side, Manhattan, Queens. I lived in the Bronx. I lived in Staten Island. I lived everywhere in New York. I'm New York. You know what I'm saying?
When you were active in a gang, because East Coast and West Coast is not always the same type of thing. Was that based in the neighborhood you were living in, or was it sort of more, were the members kind of more spread out?
Before we get into that, like, let me ask you a question. Did you see my video, Prolific?
Well, you're talking about the video that I posted on our Instagram?
Yeah. Did you see the whole video? Like the whole video?
No, I watched that 1 minute clip.
Okay.
It
You
was,
should
it was
watch.
definitely dope, man, and the responses were
You should
like
watch the whole thing.
super positive.
You should watch the whole
I
thing.
did not watch the whole thing, not yet, but I did watch that Instagram clip.
You got I'm more than just gang stories and jail stories, although I appreciate the forum, but I do have dope music, you know what I'm saying? And I would, be honored if you could check me out and you know what I'm saying, give me give me some love on my music. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I'm an artist.
I got you, and we actually posted it on the website as well. We did post a full video.
No, I
But
appreciate. No, I
I'm going to
definitely
keep it
appreciate
100 with you. I only watched the 1 minute clip. I didn't get to watch
and I
the
appreciate
full
you
video
keeping
yet.
it 100 because anybody else would have been like, nah, I watched the whole thing. It was super dope. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate that. You know what I mean? But when you get a chance, China Mac is an artist before anything. You feel me? So, all right, let's go. So now you were saying that in New York, the gang stuff, is it spread out or is it just like,
Well, yeah. I mean, with the Chinese gangs, is it based on a particular neighborhood, or was your crew kind of spread out all over the place?
the Chinese gangs at that time, we just stuck to the neighborhoods, like you know what I mean. So that be in Chinatown, in Manhattan, or like Queens, Flushing, Queens, Elmhurst, Queens. We really didn't like go outside of that. You know what I'm saying? And in Brooklyn, Eighth Ave. So Chinese people really you just stuck to their own, like they didn't really move out and shit.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm familiar with Chinatown in New York, and I mean, it's a mixed commercial, residential type of thing. People aren't really like sitting on the corner selling drugs in Chinatown.
That
you
never
know, I
really
mean,
happened though. You know what I'm saying? Like China, like with the community, you know, the Chinese people was always. You would never really see us selling drugs in the community. You know what I'm saying? If anything, we would get the drugs and push it somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't see that. And I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say it was because well I wouldn't say the majority of reason of why that was so is I'm sure a piece of like a good part of it was that we didn't want to give it to our own people. You know what I'm saying? But another big part of it was that we knew that when we do that in our own neighborhood, it's gonna make us hot. You know what I'm saying? So like the smarter thing to do is get the drugs and put it somewhere else so our community isn't hot so we can have a little more you know shelf life and doing whatever we're doing and we can get more money and we can make ourselves hot, you know what I'm saying? But if we're on the corner selling it, it's hot, you know what I mean? So the police is going to come and that's going to be short-lived, you know what I'm saying? So I guess Chinese people always the Chinese gangs always looked at that and always took that into consideration.
I mean, that's an interesting point because when you look at the black and Mexican gangs, they're usually selling in their own communities, or even the white gangs, in the trailer parks and whatever else, they're usually selling it to their neighbors, sometimes to their own relatives.
Yeah.
And you're right, it ends up fucking up the community. It ends up destroying the community from within. And yeah, you have a couple of people that become rich and everyone else, ends up looking like they're in a war. So that's interesting. So you never really, you guys really kind of were protective over where you guys lived.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
But there were areas that were considered hot, where like, okay, if you go here, there might be rival gangs, Because even when we talk about the situation that happened, with Jin back in the day, that was like you said at a club called Club Yellow. Was
Yeah.
that sort of like kind of a gang hangout in a way, or not really?
Yeah, it was.
Okay. So being, back then you were not as known as you are now. If you start hanging out in these type of areas again, clicking up with your old friends, with your old crews, seeing some of your old enemies and stuff like that, what do you think would happen if you just kept doing that over and over again?
But now
Yeah.
I'll go back to jail. Or something else might happen. You know what I'm saying? Um, I mean, but, you know, after going through everything that I went through, you know what I mean? I understand that who you hang with, where you hang at, what you do, how you think, all of that really, you know, dictates your future. You know what I'm saying? It dictates where you're gonna go, you know? So if I'm at the same place with the same people that's doing shit that's not legal, that's gonna get you in trouble, then there's only two places I can go over there. You know what I'm saying? It's either gonna be prison or it's gonna be in the grave. You know what I'm saying? So basically, there's nothing else. There's no brighter side to that story. You know what I mean? So I definitely realized that while it took me a long time, a lot of fucking like mistakes and a lot of heartache and a lot of fucking, you know, a lot of bumps and a lot of bloodshed, a lot of everything, a lot of pain for me to realize that one thing. You know what I'm saying? That simple ass shit. Like, if you don't want to go there, then you can't be doing this. And if you want to do something like, this, you gotta hang around the right people. So right now, I try to keep myself with people that's doing this, that's going in the direction where I want to go. You feel me? Like I don't want to be around a bunch of people that's headed towards prison because I know what that look like. You know what I'm saying? They might never been there, so I don't. You know what I mean? Y'all can have y'all trip. I already took that trip. I took that trip a couple times. You know what I'm saying? So I'm good. You know what I mean? It's all love with everybody. You know what I'm saying? If I see him as dab, it's love. But I'm not trying to take another trip. You feel me, Vlad?
What happened to your old crew? If you look at like your core group of friends that you fucked with when you were the most active, where are they at right now?
They either like jail, dead, or they came home after doing a long time and they changed their life. You know what I'm saying? They fathers, their work, they own businesses, shit like that. You know what I mean?